Dynamic highlighting and measuring is supported in the SolidCAM simulator. Dynamic highlighting is when we hover over various parts of the tools or stocks or targets and we get highlighting of faces, edges, or points. Dynamic measuring is we can click on any of the parts and get dimensional information. If I click on a vertice, we can see that we get a measure in the bottom right hand corner. This is a clickable field, so that way you can copy and paste from this. You can measure vertices, you can measure lines, which give you length, and you can also measure faces. And faces will give you the vector, the distance from the origin, and also the distance from the target. You can also measure between multiple points. For instance, we can take a point and another point, and we can get the measurement between those. So you get the distance, the 3D distance, the distance in X, Y, and Z. You can also measure between two lines, for example, and you will get a distance measurement. You can also measure between a face and a vertice, and you will get the shortest distance. You can also measure arcs, and arcs are selected in a special way. When we want to measure an arc, we have to pick 3 consecutive faces. If I zoom into this radius here, I can hold down Control and highlight 3 faces. Here you get the vector of the arc and you get the radius. To make radius picking easier, it can be helpful in the theme editor to disable smooth shading. If we type smooth into the theme editor and go to the stock, we can turn off smooth shading. You can now see the facets or the triangulated faces of the stock easier. Now it makes it easier for picking. Let's switch to a different operation and show some of the advanced measurements for arcs. For instance, we can highlight these 3 faces of this arc, and we can highlight this edge, and it will give us the center distance, the minimum distance, and the maximum distance. You can also measure between arcs. You can measure this arc, hold down Control, and select this, and now you will get the center to center distance, the minimum, and the maximum. You can also get the measurement between 2 angular faces. So for instance, we have this dovetail. If we highlight one of the faces and the face of the fixture, we can see it is 60 degrees. Dynamic measure and highlighting is turned off through the theme editor, here and here. Or when you are in flyout mode, you can access it through the right-click menu, Dynamic Highlight and Dynamic Measure.